It's difficult for me to think that a device could be life-changing as much as the Re-Aktiv brace has been for me. I was mountain biking with my son in July 2018. About 50 yards ahead of me, I saw a big rock on the left side of the trail. And as I was going through and clearing it, I realized these days I have much wider tires than I've ever had before as a mountain biker. And I ended up clipping the rock on the left side. So the bike goes off to the left and I start flying, and my whole right side slammed at high speed into the mountain, Stevens Pass. I looked down and my right foot was off to the side. But it was both a broken tibia and fibula and compound, and that it was sticking out of my leg. When I had the initial injury and the initial surgery, I was hopeful and optimistic that I'd be able to do everything that I love to do. But the rehab ended up being really painful, and I had a lot of swelling. So it limited what I was able to do. I did eventually go on a ski trip with my friends, one of my passions, but it was just too painful. And it made me question what was going on, which led me to a second opinion about my situation, which led to a secondary surgery. And it was in that second surgery that I had that question again. Will I be able to ski? Will I be able to go and mountain bike again? Will I be able to put a backpack on and go hike in the mountains with my family? Because that's who I am and that's what I like to do. And when I found this doctor, Stephen Benershka at Harborview, he said, well, that's one of the interesting things about this brace I'm talking about, is that yes, it can help you in your initial rehab, but it's made specifically, it can be made to handle those kind of sports that you're talking about. So that was pretty exciting to hear as a potential outcome. As a part of that, he wrote me a prescription for a brace and recommended Cornerstone O&P. I went in and met my clinician, who's Dave, and he told me that the process was going to include taking a cast of my entire sort of right leg up to the knee, that they would then be able to fabricate this brace, and it would actually be like custom to my own foot and my own leg, my exact specifications. When I got the call that the brace was ready, it's one of the most exciting days of my life. I had been wearing a big bulky air cast to kind of limp around, and the thought that I could be using this slim brace instead was really exciting. So I went to Cornerstone. They had made this, what I think is gorgeous brace made out of black carbon fiber, and I was able to put it on and it fit perfectly. The bottom of it is like an orthotic shoe bed that you'd put on, and it fit my foot like a glove. Like it literally was, molded to my foot. It was amazing. And then the process was, let's have you try and walk down the hall. And I was initially scared, honestly, because I haven't been able to walk 10 steps in an air cast or anything else without a ton of pain. And I'm walking down the halls of Cornerstone, pain-free. And there were some tweaks and some adjustments, but pain-free. It was amazing. So these days, I'm using the brace daily. One of the things that I love to do is exercise my dog and take my children to school every day. And I have learned that I can't do those things without my Re-Aktiv brace. So every day I have my Re-Aktiv brace on, and I go for an hour-long, 3-mile walk through my neighborhood here in Kirkland, can drop my daughter off at school, take my dog for a good walk and get some fresh air. But I could not do that daily walk without my Re-Aktiv brace. When I think about the Re-Aktiv brace as a user, the most powerful and amazing component of it is clearly those PDE carbon springs that provide so much flexibility in terms of the offloading of the pain I get in my lower ankle, but tied to the kind of activity that I'm doing. That said, my second feature that I love about the Re-Aktiv is the cuff part. So carbon again at the cuff, but with this ability to tighten it And I can literally adjust that as I'm walking or having my activity. If I start to feel pain, I start to feel a little looseness, then I'm able to just twist my dial and tighten it up. Pain goes away. I can do that literally while I'm riding my mountain bike or while I'm out on a walk. I don't have to stop. I don't have to kind of adjust everything. Also, from a feature standpoint on the Re-Aktiv brace, this thing they call a foot plate, right, which for me just feels like an orthotic footbed, but it's a perfect carbon footbed made just to the shape of my foot, and it's really stiff. So it allows me to get this rebound. As I'm sort of pushing off the brace on my right foot, I almost feel like it's pushing me off into my next step, and it's partially because of that stiffness I get from that carbon foot plate. So as I got the brace, I had been told that I'd be able to get back to some of my extreme activities that I loved, and I kind of questioned it. Like, would the brace really be able to do that for me, and was I really ready to do that? I had been in a meeting where we were all setting personal goals for ourselves, and this was just after my injury. And I set a goal that someday I was going to be riding my mountain bike up to the top of the mountain and getting back down to the bottom all on my own power. And for the longest time, I just didn't know if that dream was going to be real. When I got that Re-Aktiv brace and a nice stiff spring on it, plus an electric mountain bike, I was able to get back out there at Tiger Mountain. I got to the top, I got down. It was one of the most powerful moments of my life of positivity from this really traumatic injury. It was literally impossible without that brace. It's too much pain. I have too much weight-bearing pain. But that Re-Aktiv brace literally cuts it. When you tune it right, I can literally be pain-free for hours doing the mountain biking that I love. It's unreal.